Hi to all. So this is going to be a lesson for 28th of April. That's Tuesday. Tuesday, okay. So this is going to be your first video for revision. Now, as I forgot to put this review sheet a day before on Edmodo, but hereafter you'll be finding this on a previous day, and the next day you'll be finding the answers through the videos. Okay, so because I did not do that, that's okay. So you will be doing this in fact with me, and then you will find from hopefully from tomorrow onwards the previous revision paper published on Edmodo. Fine. So this is going to be just a review for all the lessons which you have learned. So I wanted to start with chapter 3. We'll be doing it lesson by lesson. So let's go on and let's try to do this. So the first lesson was about lines and angles. Okay, we have learned about different types of angles and different types of lines. So for question number 1, you just have to draw what they are saying. All of us know what's parallel line, and we also know what are perpendicular lines. So these two lines are the most important ones among lines, parallel and perpendicular. So line J is parallel to line K. So you have to draw two lines with J is parallel to K, and line L is parallel to line K. So there are basically going to be three parallel lines. So three lines, one is J, one is K, and one is L. So you have to read carefully to see what kind of relationship they are in, like what kind of lines they are. J is parallel to K, so that's going to be two lines. J is parallel to K, which they will not touch. And then L is parallel to K, so K and L are also parallel. So basically your figure will be looking something like this. See, J and K are parallel, and K and L are also parallel. So they want you to say the relationship between J and L. So what's the relationship between J and L? Apparently they are also parallel. So J and L are also parallel lines. Okay, so this is how you are going to be solving this. I just kept the easy ones for you because I know you must have definitely forgotten all what you learned, but so let's move on to question number 2. That's line K is parallel to line J. So first find out how many lines are there. There is line K, then there is line J, then there is line L. So then read it. So there are three lines. So line K is parallel to line J. So if you are drawing, of course, you have to draw two lines with, first let's draw line K. Okay, this is going to be line K. And then K is parallel to line J. So again, you have to be again drawing a line which is parallel to J. So this is K and this is going to be J. Okay, then line L is perpendicular to line K. So if this was line K, there is another line which is perpendicular. Now what is a perpendicular line? Perpendicular lines, they cross to make right angles. So it's going to be, of course, it's going to be like that. Okay, so this is going to be J, this is K, this is J, and this is going to be line L. So apparently your figure can also look something like this. Not necessary you have to just draw what I drew. They can be of different ways. So okay, so it can be this way, it can be this way, it doesn't matter. All what you need to know is you have to follow what they have given. So they are saying describe the relationship between J and L. So what is the relationship between J and L? Again, they are also perpendicular lines. Means J is perpendicular to L, because K is perpendicular to L. Automatically J also becomes perpendicular to L. So your figure can look anything either like this or like this. This they have drawn for the side. This I drew it straight. So it can be any way, but it has to only adhere to the instructions which they have given. Okay, now moving to question number, this was supposed to be question number 3. Okay, and a pair of parallel segments. I don't know whether I have given this question for you before or not. It looks familiar, but let's solve it. A pair of parallel segments. You know what are parallel lines, right? They are something. They are the lines which do not touch. So here in this figure, they have been showing you the parallel lines by these arrows. So you can take any pair of parallel segments. See now, AC. This is parallel to BD, or you can say CG is parallel to DH, or even you can say EH is parallel to FH, or you can say AB is parallel to CD. There are many possibilities looking at this picture, so you just need to name any one. So you can name them as AB and CD, or AC and BD, up to you, whichever parallel lines you need to write, because there are many. Okay, a pair of skew segments. Now skew, I don't know how many of you remember, skew segments are something which have no relationship between them at all, like one is in one side and the other is on the other. So which can be a pair of skew segments? Now skew segments can be, if I take AC, which line has no relationship at all to A and C? It can be GH, because AC is nothing related to GH. Okay, or it can be BD with CG, because again there is no apparent any relationship between BD and CG too. So any two pairs of lines which have no relationship anything between them are called as skew segments. Okay, a pair of perpendicular segments. Now what are perpendicular lines? They cross and make right angles like this. Right, so a pair of perpendicular segments, if you see the picture very carefully, you can see that they have marked them with these symbols. So which can be pair of perpendicular segments? They can be CG with EG, right, because they make right angles. Also it can be AC with CD. There are many. It's not necessary you have to write what I'm saying. You can choose your, like, you can choose your own correct perpendicular segment and write it, but do make sure that they make up 90-degree angles, because perpendicular lines, they cross to form right angles. So it can be ACCD, it can be BDDC, or it can be EGGC, EGGH. There are many. See, they have marked all the right angles, so you can name any of them. A pair of parallel planes. Now they're not talking about parallel lines here, they are talking about parallel planes. Okay, now what do parallel planes look like? They are like flat surfaces. Planes means flat surface. So here we have only three flat surfaces. That's this one, and this one, right? So when they are asking a pair of parallel planes, you can say, you can use, now of course there are only two parallel planes. This plane is parallel to this. You cannot say this and these are parallel, because they are joining, they are touching each other. So the only pair of parallel planes is this part and this part. So how do you name a plane? You can choose any three letters. So this plane has letters A, B, C, D. So you can choose any three letters to name them as a plane. So let me take ABD. This is going to be plane ABD, and from here you can take again three. So let me name this plane as EFH. So a pair of parallel planes are going to be plane ABD, ABD. Oh, where is it? Okay. That's going to be plane ABD and plane EFH. Okay, so these are the two parallel planes which they have given you. You can even name it as ABC, it doesn't matter. You can choose any three letters from the corners of the letters which they have given. Okay, now this one is complete the statements by matching the correct term. Dash lines are not coplanar. Remember what are coplanar lines? They are not parallel and do not intersect. Which are lines are not coplanar, and they are neither parallel and they do not intersect also. Here are the clues given for you, so you can use these clues. So it cannot be parallel, right, because they are not parallel. The parallel lines are not coplanar. You cannot say coplanar means on a plane. Skew, is it skew? Yes, it is. So skew lines are not coplanar, they are not parallel, and they do not intersect also. So this is going to be skew here. Parallel planes are planes that do not parallel planes. That's what we were discussing in the previous question. Parallel planes are planes that do not intersect. They do not touch each other. Perpendicular lines intersect at 90 degrees or right angles. Now dashed lines are coplanar and do not intersect. They have already given you the symbols of the line. So they are parallel lines are coplanar and do not intersect. I just kept it easy because it's the first lesson. So, and this question also, I don't know, it looks familiar for me. I have taught you this or I have given you somewhere. I don't remember exactly, but it looks very familiar to me. If you have done this before, it will be easy for you. Okay, so this is going to be, it's almost like a problem solving, that's all. Sudeep walks back and forth along parallel segments in his yard. So they have shown you the movement here. This is the picture. Then he walks back diagonally across the yard. Identify each of the following in the figure. So he's walking back and forth. You can see the movement up, down, up, down, up, down, and then diagonally he's walking across the yard. Okay, so you identify each of the following in the figure. How are you going to identify each of the following in the figure? A transversal. What is a transversal? A transversal means a line that disturbs two parallel lines. Okay, so it means it cuts two parallel lines. It passes through parallel lines. So which line is passing through parallel lines? It is R. Right, this is the transversal because all of them are parallel, only this is the transversal. So the transversal is going to be R. Now they need corresponding angles. Now again, coming back to angles, what are corresponding angles? If you remember about the different kinds of angles, which I'm sure most of you don't, some of you do, but most of you don't. What are corresponding angles? We learned about corresponding, we learned about alternate interior, and we also learned about alternate exterior. Okay, now alternate interior and alternate exterior are going to be easy for you. Here they have given you three kinds, the angle 1, 2, 3, and 4. They have given you 4 angles. So from these 4 angles, let's find out which are corresponding angles. Corresponding angles lie on the same side of the transversal. Right, they lie on the same side of the transversal, and they're like they sit in front of each other, like one is sitting in front or one is sitting behind each other. So which can be corresponding angles from this? It can be angle 1 and 3 or angle 2 and 4 because they are on the same side of the transversal. So corresponding angles are same side of the on the transversal. So it can be angles 1 and 3 or 2 and 4. Okay, we see they're sitting like 3 is sitting behind 1 and 2 is sitting behind 4. It's like this. The next is alternate interior angles. So in alternate means opposite, interior means inside. Which are going to be alternate interior angles? They have to be angles which are inside, not outside. So which can be alternate interior angles? It can be angle 1 and 2 or angle 3 and 4 also, because 3 and 4 are alternate and 1 and 2 are also alternate. Now interior angles, because they said we have to search something which is inside this. If they just say alternate angles, it can be 1 and 2, 3 and 4, but they said interior. So interior means it has to be something inside. So which two interior angles are there? Alternate interior, it's going to be angle 2 and 3. Right, now what are the alternate exterior angles? Now again, exterior means outside, so alternate means opposite. So alternate exterior angles are going to be 1 and 4. It cannot be 2 and 3 because 2 and 3 are inside, so it has to be angle 1 and 4. So this was all your revision for lesson 1. So from tomorrow onwards, of course, you'll be having the worksheet beforehand, so do solve it and then check the video to check the answers. If you are done, just comment there done, so that I will have an idea how many of you are doing the worksheets. Fine, so until I meet you again in tomorrow's video, take care of yourselves and stay safe.